Hello, and welcome to the Mental Theory Podcast. I'm your host, Cheyenne, and this podcast I've wanted to do a podcast for so long. Never thought I would do one though. I actually bought the equipment, which, shocker. Okay, so what is the Mental Theory Podcast going to be? Well, the name of it first came up so I have a class, I'm taking psychology. I have a psychology class. Um, it's with the block. I don't know if you would have heard of the block because I do know when the block started at my school. It was the year before they went to was it San Diego, and they introduced the block to a whole bunch of teachers, and they've been using it since. It's been a while though. Actually, I think I was in middle school when it first started. I think I was beginning middle school, and now I'm at the end of my high school career. So, anyways, um, the meaning behind mental theory because I had to find a project to do. I had to find a project to do with psychology, kind of like because we had to hit certain outcomes for it. Um, so the name behind mental theory name came from mental health and music theory. So, can you guess what this podcast is about? The podcast is about the mental health crisis going around in the music industry because it is a very serious thing. Fun fact: 73% of musicians from a study I read reported to have mental health issues, mental health problems, that line. Which is 4 times more than the general population of 8 billion people. And I think there I know over 2,000 people took the survey and 73% of them suffered from mental illness. I think it was a Swedish report, Swedish company actually called the Record Union. Great report. Very sad statistics though. It's very upset. It was very upsetting for me to read the first time. I've read it over like 5 times now. So yeah, that's the name, mental theory. And the point of mental theory is to raise awareness of this mental health crisis in the music industry. Because your favorite musician is probably suffering right now, whether they're a pop star, a rock star, or a classical musician like me. I'm a classical musician. That's why I take such an interest in the music industry itself of the creators cuz I haven't created a piece. I don't have that um you know, that talent cuz I have a terrible ear. But I do care for musicians as I am one and do have a family some family members who are musicians themselves. So the point of the brand is that bringing awareness because it's kind of bad. There have been a lot of suicides. Like, Avicii, Kurt Cobain, whether I'm allowed to say those names, I do not know. But those are just Amy Winehouse. Y'all know, you have to know Amy Winehouse. She's a icon. Love her. You know, Back to Black, had to. Anyways, so I want to raise awareness of this, crisis. Because we don't want crises around the world. So to raise money, I will be selling clothing, hoodies, very cute, and they look very comfortable. I have yet to receive the ones that I've ordered. They look very comfortable, and a photo shoot will be coming soon. So look out for that. So yeah, that's how we will be raising money because we will be donating 50% of the profits to an organization called Blackline.care. They help musicians, whether it's really geared towards mental health, but they have been helping recently, like the California fires. They have been also recently helping with that. So, great organization. So that's where 50% of the profits will go, and 50% will be brought back in to Mental Theory to better the company, better the brand, I should say. It's not so much a company yet. Hopefully, my goal is to make it like a big company. Whether that will happen or not, hopefully, that's my goal. Anyways, an introduction on me. Actually, no, not yet. We're going to talk about what we're going to be doing. Podcasts. So I have to hit certain outcomes to pass the course. So we will be doing outcomes and how it relates to music and music experiences and the health crisis. I will be having guests, my friends who are also musicians. I'll be having them on the podcast to share their experience and to show them and to teach them so they can learn something. So yeah. Okay, now y'all get an introduction on me. So, as I said, I'm Cheyenne. I'm a high school student. I'm graduating this year. Holy crap, never thought I'd make it there. Anyways, did not think I was going to make it to grade 12. Here I am, thriving. Anyways, so I'm a high school student. I am in 2 orchestras. I'm a classical musician. I play the viola. This is the only time I'll say this. It's kind of like the violin. It's just a little bit bigger and a lower octave. It has a lower string. It doesn't have that high, their highest string, and they don't have our lowest string. That's the difference. It's a little bit bigger. From what I've been told, it's the closest to the human voice, and it actually is pretty hard to play. Like I have a cello friend, loves playing my viola, but nonstop she says, it's so hard to stretch. I don't know how you do it. And I'm like, exactly, because I have a hard time stretching my pinky. Very weak pinkies. You know, I do have a stronger pinky than your average person, though, apparently. Not to brag or whatever. Anyways, so I'm in 2 orchestras. I'm in my provincial orchestra for my province, and I'm in my regional orchestra for where I live. The world-renowned New Brunswick Youth Orchestra, and then the Miramichi Youth Strings. Anyways, I've been playing since 2016, September, October 2016. So that's next year will be 10 years. Oh my god, I'm aging myself as I speak. Holy crap. So yeah, I've been playing since I think I just turned 9 like 2 weeks before. Yeah, I just turned 9 like 2-3 weeks before. And I'm turning 18 in the summer. How crazy is that? I cannot believe it. I've been through multiple teachers. And that is kind of where I've started experiencing mental health issues. So I had the end of my first year, I did start having lessons before the rest of my group because I started in a program called Systemic New Brunswick, and in the technically my center started January 2016, and I joined September 2016 because I was too old to join the first year, though I would have joined the first year. And I had a teacher. I had 2 teachers technically because I had 2 different people teaching me. And then was it my second year? We switched centers because we got a new school. And no, I don't think. No, I still had the same teacher. I love her. I miss her. I did. We all of us miss her. Everyone who knew her misses her because she was so sweet. And then my third year when I hit grade 6, I got a new teacher. They got a new teacher in for specifically the viola because we were sharing 2 violin teachers. Because no one that plays the viola because it's such a complicated instrument. It's not really. It's just not as popular as the violin or cello, or apparently double bass. Though I heard, and I have physically heard better concertos than the violas. Double basses having better concertos and stuff. Kind of sad and upsetting. So, yeah. So we got a new viola teacher, and I started having lessons with her. She loved me, but she was never the nicest to the rest of them. Like, my sister was in the same program playing the same instrument I was. She hated her. She marked on her hand. Like, yes, she had to cut her nails, but you don't mark on a kid's hand with Sharpie. Like, ink poisoning. Could have killed the kid. Thank God not. Anyways, yeah, she was never the nicest. Constantly, like, screaming and, like, crashing out at me because of my intonation issues, my tuning. Yeah, was not fun. She quit in the middle of the year. Like, I think around after March break, she never came back. And this was right after the music fest we had. I placed bronze, which wasn't that bad because I actually did place. Um, but I just freaked out. That was my first time ever performing solo on stage. Freaked out, I'm telling you. I freaked out. Oh my god. I didn't freak out physically on stage, but like in my head I'm like, "Oh my god, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why have I agreed to do this?" Cuz like I wouldn't say they forced. They kind of did. Yeah, they kind of did force it on me. And I have very bad anxiety. Like, I can play with a group. I'm fine playing with a group, even being leader, because I'm the leader of the regional orchestra of my group. I am the leader, principal. So, but I playing solo couldn't. I do video auditions because I can't do an in-person audition even if I don't see the person's face. I can't do it knowing I'm being judged right then and there. I'd rather record it. And so I hate presenting projects too. Like this, I feel better doing this than I did presenting my project that I did on music. So, yeah. But I freaked out. I started rushing and messing up the notes at the end of it because it was like a, oh my god, what's the word? Like the renditions, not renditions, but like something. I can't think of the word at the moment. Um, I played a piece from a Suzuki book. I think it was I played the. I think it was from number 3. I have it there. Oh my god, when I looked at it after cleaning my room, I friggin' flashback city. Holy crap, I hated that time of my life. I already was going through a hard time in grade 6, like parents split up, whatever. Already going through a tough time, moving, you know. But yeah, so it was not a great year that year. Freaked out. Teacher was not happy with how I played. Placed 3rd. Beat myself up for it. I did better. Speaking, I got silver doing a poem. Yeah, I got silver doing a poem. Speaking, which I don't do. Anyways, yeah. So, kind of my experience, and I have new teachers now. I'm not a big fan of my teacher. Not because he's not a good player. He's a good player, I'll give him that. But when you're in the classical industry, there's so many different ways people do their techniques. And um my teacher now, he did start off playing the fiddle with like technically the fiddle, but violin, then went to violin, then went to viola because it was easier. It has easier like pieces, but technique like I can't do it. I don't know. Anyways, and then I get told by my conductor, who's a violinist through and through, violinist, different techniques, and depending on the technique, like my conductor's bow hold I find better, and the way he says to place my thumb on my instrument better. But then with my actual teacher, like my arm levels, I do agree with that because it does make my sound better. But then I'm not a big fan of having, I don't know, because he's so close to my age. I think he's only like 8 years older than I am, so it's kind of weirds me out, especially now that I'm turning 18 in August, so I'm legal. No, thank you. I get the creeps. But like when you're raised a girl in a society that we live in now, you get the creeps from like literally every guy because of what you see on the internet. Anyways, um, so That's been my experience so far. I don't plan on stopping. I will say next year will be my last years in orchestras, for now at least. Maybe forever. I will never stop playing the viola because it's gotten me. Like the experiences I've had, like I'm going on tour this summer. An experience I'll never ever get again. So, and it does give me experiences I never thought I'd have. But then again, it's a very deteriorate. Jesus Christ, Jesus, oh my God, deteriorating on your mental health, and apparently you're speaking. But yeah, so the outcomes I have to hit. This outcome I'll be hitting is my first outcome that I have to hit. It is the historical perceptions from psychologists I will be talking about today. Freud and Adler, as when I was doing research, I find that their theories were actually closest to what musicians experience. Like Freud's theory, we talked about Freud so much in psychology, but like his theories, I will say, can line up with a lot of things. So his theory is with the conscious mind, preconscious mind, and unconscious mind. The preconscious mind is anything that you are aware of in the present moment, or not so much present moment, but like like a short span of time, like a memory from like yesterday, or memory from yesterday, like having a concert. Like say you had a concert yesterday and you messed up remembering something like that, or you did really good playing a solo, remembering something like that, kind of. Like or your passwords to like say any of your devices, whether it's your iPad to get onto your sheet music because you use your iPad as your sheet music, which a lot of people do. I think I'd rather paper, though. I will say, like, I do like my iPad. It is kind of convenient for the moment, but my iPad at the moment, kind of a wreck. I will say, my screen is smashed. There's holes in my screen at the top. Not good. Anyways, moving on. The conscious mind is anything. The conscious mind is anything you're currently aware of in the present. So, like, what you're currently aware of, like what you're going to eat or what you're going to play for your audition in not that long, or like what you're practicing, or a concert that you're going to perform, like if you're a pop star singing, I don't know, if you're Olivia Rodrigo singing Driver's License. I don't know why I blanked because I do love her. um Moving on. The unconscious mind is feelings and memories we aren't aware of in the moment, like your fears. Like you aren't aware of that fear until it happens. So like until the fear happens, like say you're afraid of heights, you're not thinking of your fear of heights until you're actually up on, say, like the CN Tower in Toronto. Or like a memory of like a real like a memory, like maybe from your childhood, or like when you first started playing. 'Cause I can't remember when I first started playing. Like I don't constantly think of it. Like I can remember some bits of it. Like I remember we made these paper mache instruments. I have it over there. I'll post a pic. You can see my paper mache instrument that I made. Spent literally a week on. They had to stay back because I was not done. Took a while because I was painting a rainbow on the back. Anyways, um, yeah, like anything like that. Yeah, his theories. I will say, like some of his theories, um, they're very. How do I say this? He's very into sex, and he loves sex. We talked about that a lot in psych. Um, but we'll conclude Freud's theory. His theory is like an iceberg. His the conscious mind is like the top of the iceberg that you see. Like okay, Titanic in that iceberg. The top of the iceberg, like where you see the water, it's pretty small compared to like the rest of it. It's pretty small. That's your conscious mind. And then like when you first get down in the ocean, and that little bit, of iceberg. That's like the pre-conscious mind. No, your pre-conscious mind, which like is like your memories from. That's a lot of like, it's your memories from your like like I said a day ago. And then the unconscious mind, which is the biggest part of the iceberg, which is definitely down below the ocean. That is your unconscious mind, which he believes that you have so much that you're unaware of yourself. It's like the iceberg because you're not aware of how big the iceberg is until you look under the water and see how big it is because it is friggin' humongous. Like iceberg, if you've seen like their clips on like the clock app, they have they're like the main characters and then like kind of underrated characters and then really underrated characters, something like that. It's like that. Okay. The Alderian theory, however you pronounce that, that's the psychotheory. The psychotherapy. I think it's a really good thing a musicians could do because not a lot of musicians seek help. I think actually less than 50, like around 50%, maybe even less, search for reach out for help, and less of the younger musicians, like I think the younger musician group actually said that they don't search up. Most of them said they don't, which is kind of weird because like you know you always hear like the younger people like advocating for mental health and therapy, but they're the ones that don't actually go seek out for it. They tell you, but they don't seek out for it themselves. It's actually the older group that actually like worry about the mental health and stuff, which is kind of shocking to me. Anyways, Alderian therapy, like I said, is something I believe could help musicians because there's different types. The ones I have put down are engage are reasons that they could help is like the way they do it with like engagement and relationship building because like they kind of lack that because of how they're treated in the industry. Like they don't trust many people because of it. Like their labels are not a lot of their labels are not good to them because they seek they want the attention brought to them. So they want like drama, which is not good. They not good at all. Um again, kind of this the next one kind of links with engagement and relationship building. Their lifestyle because they have a lifestyle assessment. Like they have a part with lifestyle assessment. Um which I believe is like the big one cuz like their lifestyle is not that great, especially if they've been in it for a while. It's either very good, it's actually really good, or it's not good at all, and they're like relying, or they're self medicating. I 51% self medicate, and 50ish% say they use drugs, and 54 say they use alcohol, and it's not good because it turns into alcoholism or a drug addiction, which leads to a lot of them overdosing and or committing suicide. I say and or because they could overdose and not mean to kill themselves, or a lot of them have committed suicide, unfortunately. A lot of big musicians, because of the pressure of the industry. Not good. um early recollections of like either the childhood, if they've had childhood trauma which led them to becoming a musician, or if they like the beginning of their career was a while ago, like recollecting, like reliving that and bringing back the trauma could actually help, which is another part of the Elderian psychotherapy. And encouragement. A lot of them don't feel encouraged, but they have. The only way they feel encouraged is if they're like forced to by their label, which is not good. Like you want to have the want to do it. Like there's a lot of wants, but like you have to want to do it to actually enjoy it and get encouraged to do more and while enjoying it. You have to want to enjoy it, what you're doing. So yeah. And I find that those are the big like 4 points that get reached in psychotherapy that could really help. what they're doing, because it could have the most impact on their lives and actually like see that they do need help. But yeah, that's like a lot of it is just like they need to reach out for help. I find they need to reach out for help, but a lot of them, when they do, they don't get it because like a lot of them like live in the USA, which healthcare isn't free, so it is expensive. So like you want to, but you can't. So Backline actually helps musicians get that help by helping pay, which is a good thing. Like they help with anything. They provide support, which is a good thing. They need that support. Anyways, okay. I'm going to end that there. That is actually all I've had to talk about in this podcast. It was a lot of talking for me. Actually, the next podcast, I actually have a special guest coming, and I'm not going to tell you who until it gets there. Okay? So I want to end it on a happy note because this one was kind of a lot of heavy stuff. So I'm gonna end with a joke, a musical joke, obviously, because mental theory is music. So how do you fix a broken brass instrument? With a band aid. You know, a band aid, a band aid, a band aid. You know. So I don't know why I laughed so hard when I found that joke. Anyways, it was a very funny joke. That's it. I'm gonna have to say goodbye and see you on next. When's this getting uploaded? This is getting uploaded on Friday. I'll see you next Tuesday. Okay. Bye bye.